What's happening, peeps? Goukigod here, and in this video we're going to be talking about all the latest and greatest news in the FPS world from the last 2 weeks, and that was my belt if you heard it chink. And let's just do this Philly D style and jump straight into it. And just before we get started, I know that we said that we would just jump straight into it, but I thought I'd tell you about my new site. Well, it's actually not that new, it's been out since the beginning of the year, but I've been working on it in the background and it's finally at a point where I think it's ready to show everybody. So if you want to check it out, I've stuck a link in the description. It's just a little side project that I've been working on. So the first thing that I wanted to talk about was Call of Duty, and there's quite a lot of news both in Black Ops 3 world and in World War II world, so we'll start with the Black Ops 3 stuff. So after months of rumors and hype and secrets and leaks, I don't know if there was any leaks, but Black Ops DLC 5 has finally been released, and it is called the Zombie Chronicles, which is basically a remastering of many of the iconic zombie maps from the previous games. So Zombie Chronicles includes 8 remastered classic zombie maps, and it features maps from the games World at War, Black Ops, and Black Ops 2. So if you're a fan of the Zombies mode and you haven't played the ones from the previous games, this is certainly a good way to check them out. Now it does require the Black Ops disc to play. It would have been nice if this was a standalone package, but as it is, you'll need Black Ops 3 to play it, which I'm guessing isn't going to be an issue for a lot of people. This DLC pack costs $29.99, which I believe is the US price, which seems reasonably steep. I mean, that's almost the cost of a game. And depending on your point of view, if you've already played all of these maps, then this kind of seems a little bit steep for basically HD or remastered versions of them. Now, in addition to the remastered content, there is 2 new whimsical gobblegums. I have no idea what they are because I've never really played zombies. There's an exclusive weapon camo, and for PS4 owners, if you pre-ordered, there was also a dynamic PlayStation theme. Now moving on to the World War II aspect, there's a little bit of controversy in the last couple of weeks. Apparently a lot of YouTubers are having their Call of Duty World War II videos demonetized and marked as advertiser unfriendly. Now this is a little bit of an issue because it creates a small problem for those who are planning on covering the game for the next year or so, particularly for those Call of Duty focus channels like Drifter and Ali A. So it'll be interesting to see if Activision or YouTube can do anything about this situation, because from a marketing point of view it's a bit of a disaster if no one ends up covering the game. I'm sure people will still cover it if it's popular, but I'm guessing if it doesn't pull in the same amount of revenue, then there would almost certainly be a dip in the amount of coverage. Now in other World War II news, Sledgehammer has released some World War II weapons for free in Advanced Warfare. Now the details around this have been a little bit confusing. A lot of news outlets have mistakenly reported the weapons as being new weapons. From what I understand, that they're existing weapons that were already in the game, like the STG-44 and the M1911. Then there's also been some confusion around when these weapons will be available and how to unlock them. So as far as I can tell, Sledgehammer are releasing 1 weapon per weekend for every weekend leading up to E3. Now the weapon will only be available during that weekend, and you have to play 1 match and earn a supply drop in order to get it. Once the weekend is over, that weapon will disappear and you'll have to wait to the following weekend before the next weapon is released. I missed out on the STG-44, which is a massive shame, but I'll certainly be logging in over the next few weekends and trying to get as many free weapons as I can. Anyway, getting free stuff is always nice, and it's a sneaky way of Sledgehammer getting people to go back to Advanced Warfare. Now moving on to Prey, the game has launched, and only 3 days after launch someone had speedrun it in under 20 minutes. Now that's pretty crazy, but even crazier than that is that the record is down under 9 minutes. If you want to have a look at the speedrun, I've stuck a link in the description. Just be aware that there's obviously massive spoilers. There's also been some controversy around the IGN review score of a 4 out of 10. Basically, the reviewer encountered a game-breaking bug and decided to rank down the game based on that, despite him really enjoying the game otherwise. There was an interesting article in Forbes which basically said, this is a perfect example of why game review scores are redundant. Anyway, again, I've stuck a link to that article in the description. It's a good read if you're interested. To Paladins news, and the open beta is now available on PS4 and Xbox One. It's obviously been available in open beta on PC for quite a long time, and it's been in closed beta on the PS4 and Xbox One since last year. The good news is that all your progression carries over from the various betas to the final product. So if you're waiting for the final product to jump in because of this, I say don't be worried, just jump in whenever you want, because you're not going to be at a disadvantage. I've done a couple of videos on this game in the past, and it's a game that I've enjoyed. It's free to play, and it's going to remain free to play. You can obviously buy things in it, such as all the champions for around 20 bucks and different skins and so forth, but the base game is certainly fun and definitely worth a look in. To Overwatch news, and the 1-year anniversary event has been confirmed after some rumors in the previous week. Also confirmed is the Game of the Year edition, which contains an absolute crap ton of stuff. So you've got 10 loot boxes with random items like skins and emotes and so forth. There's some additional content for other games as well, so Mercy's Wings are available for Diablo 3 players. There's Tracer for Heroes of the Storm, StarCraft 2 in-game portraits of Bastion, Tracer, Pharah, Reaper, and so on. And there's even some stuff for Hearthstone and World of Warcraft. Now, the anniversary event will be running from May 24th to the 13th of June, and during that time there's also a free weekend, so I'm guessing anybody who logs in and plays for free during that period will get a chance to play the anniversary event as well, which is kind of cool. The other thing that's kind of cool is that if you take up the free weekend, that all your progress will carry over. Now, the free weekend runs from the 26th to the 29th of May, which is only a couple of days, but certainly a good opportunity to try the game if you haven't already. There's no further details on the anniversary event at this point, but it's probably safe to say that you're going to have skins and emotes and all those other sort of goodies that come in the loot boxes, as well as some kind of themed event. Anyway, I'll certainly be logging on to check it out. And the last thing that I wanted to talk about was the Quake Champions beta. Now that the NDA has been lifted, people are allowed to talk about the game and show it as well, and it's not been all smiles and sunshine at this point. There's been a ton of technical issues, including the Bethesda launcher taking a huge amount of processing power and being really slow, and also the game itself sucking a huge amount of bandwidth, which has been causing all kinds of problems for players here in Australia. People are reporting that when they get into the game that they're not finding it that much fun. TotalBiscuit did an interesting rant about this, talking about people complaining that they wanted to return to traditional arena-style shooters and that they're not happy with the modern take on Quake. From an outsider's perspective, the game looks cool and looks like quite a lot of fun. Obviously, I've not had a chance to play it, so I can only go off secondhand information. But if you're on the beta at the moment, let me know your thoughts in the game, whether you're enjoying it or whether you don't think it's any good. But that's all the news that I thought was interesting in the first-person shooter space over the last couple of weeks. And just on a final note, I know that my videos have kind of slowed down in terms of the frequency over the last month or last couple of months. I've had a lot going on in the background, which has just meant that I haven't been able to spend a lot of time on my YouTube channel like I would have liked to, but hopefully this is only temporary. Anyway, I want to thank you guys for your support. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'm out.